Next up, we have the beautiful, amazing Amy Manchip. Come on up, Amy. Come on up, Amy. And this amazing lady has got a family in the second row. Come on, that's all good and it's amazing. And but she's also got her family in the first, second, third, fourth, fifth rows as well, all the way. Because this lady is such a delight and somebody who's been part of our community for a while. I don't want to steal her story, but I want to just say we're so proud of you. And I know this is a big step as well of what God is doing in your heart. But just that you are made to testify about His story. Not your story and not your shortcomings, but actually what He has done. And this is such a thrill for us just to celebrate with you. And this is your family. And we are all cheering you on in this moment. And we have been the whole way through. And we'll keep cheering you on every step of the journey. You're not alone. And you get to declare God's grace in this amazing community. Because you know this is just the beginning. That God's putting a megaphone in front of your mouth. So you'll be able to declare His praises. So people know that only by the grace of God. So everybody, put your hands together for the lovely Amy Manchip.
Thank you. Thanks. Evening, everybody. I'm just going to jump right into it. So if I'm honest, my whole life I've been chasing the if-onlys. If only I was a certain size, I would wear that bikini at the beach like my friends. If only I'd left school and had my independence, little did I know what bills were like. If only I was engaged, if only I was married, then I would finally find that peace and happiness that I was continuing to chase. Well, those if-onlys came and were ticked off. However, that feeling of peace didn't come along with it. There was always another if-only. Well, roll on to about April 2023. I wasn't a new Christian. But I did walk into this building, Life Changes, and my life was about to change. I didn't know at the time that the people that I would encounter in this church would show me so much grace. I arrived quite broken. I just lost my mom in the March of 2023 after she had battled with her mental health for a long time. And my husband had just come out of rehab after a 6-month stint of being away. I was so hopeful that this was the turning point for my story. However, this was not God's plan. Over these last few months, we've heard how Jesus plus anything equals nothing, and how Jesus plus nothing equals everything. Well, I was humbled because little did I realize that I was putting my husband above everything. If he was using, I was spiraling. If he was using, I had a purpose to rescue. If he was using, I was enabling him, not purposefully, but I just needed to feel wanted, needed to feel needed. And I thought I could fulfill this empty feeling by being everything I thought he needed me to be. Anyway, my life was continuing to spiral, and I was in a very dark place. But by July of 2024, I was really getting to rock bottom, and I kept praying and listening to services in church and realizing that God couldn't want this for me, this constant unhappiness. So I decided to pray and listen for a change. And I remember while praying that God told me that I'm His, and He didn't want this for me. And I had to let go and let God. So I gave my husband back to God, and I decided I was going to get a divorce. As much as that felt like a failure at the time, I now know that that was God's plan for me. So that started happening, and I was still kind of feeling like something was missing in about January of this year. And then ladies' camp was announced. Something made me message Gabe in the week leading up to the tickets being released. And I said, Gabe, how much are camp tickets? And he said, they're actually going on sale on Tuesday. They're going to sell out fast. Get your ticket. Well, I was online at the time that they were going on sale, and I quickly bought my ticket and then messaged my life group and said, hey, girls, who's going? Well, it was kind of a bit like crickets. No one had quite decided. And then tickets were sold out. And being a creature of habit, I panicked like, oh, maybe I wasn't going to go. If my friends weren't going, maybe I wasn't going to go. Anyway, luckily, Grace is God's gift to all of us. And Tash, my life group leader and good friend, was going, and day passes were then made available, and a few more girls were going. But everyone that I spoke to encouraged me to still go. Camp arrived the 7th of June, and I will never forget it because it's my mom's birthday. And from the first session, I was blown away. I was weeping like I've never wept before. I thought like, oh, people are going to really think like there's something serious happening here. But there was something serious happening. God was doing amazing work. The day continued, and we got to the 4th session when Fee preached. And as much as I was hungry for God and I wanted to see change, I was just so used to watching everybody else's life change and seeing grace in their lives and being the bystander of the story, that I just accepted I was there to see what God was doing in everybody else's life. But then Fee said, to grow deeply with Christ, we need the winds of hard knocks, and that God uses the storm to make us more like Him. And then I knew that word was for me. The session ended with us in worship, and Michelle van Tonde said like God was telling her that there was someone in the room that really needed to know that He sees us, and you've been struggling. And she said something about like the person has been struggling with panic attacks and this constant feeling, and I knew that was me. So I went up and she prayed for me. I wish I could stand here and say that I no longer struggle with my mental health. That is not the case. But I just do know that since June, I haven't had one single panic attack, even though I've had such big things happen to me. Life hasn't stopped lifing, but I now know that in the chaos and in the storms, that God has got such grace for me, and that no matter what is happening in the world, that I can go to Him for that peace. And what I wanted to end with tonight is just saying that I used to be the person that sat in these seats and said, if I tick this and if I do that and if I don't sin, and then God will use me. But God actually wants to use you right now in the brokenness you find yourself. If you're in addiction, if you are struggling with sexual sin, if you are deep down in depression, God wants to use you to change somebody else's story. So in ending, I just want to say, if only I had known it was the peace in His presence that I needed. Thank you.